Okay, so you asked me a bunch of questions and I want to start answering some of them. This first one's from Daniel R. Thank you very much for this question, Daniel. It's a really good one. Daniel writes, as poker today is a lot less profitable than it was 5 to 6 years ago, do you think it will even be possible to make a decent living from poker in 5 years' time? On top of this, as Hold'em borderline solved, especially tournament play, do you think we are likely to ever see the mainstream poker variant change to follow in the footsteps of the high-stakes players playing games like 2-7, triple draw, etc.? Amazing question, so I want to start with it. Okay, first things first, I no longer make my living playing poker. Poker was awesome. It started me off. I've learned so much about it, but I've moved on to other things, including my company, the Nonverbal Group. So I'm not out there grinding I'm not playing 80 weeks of poker. I'm not online. I'm not none of those things. But I'm very still in touch with the community. I have a lot of players that still keep me up to date with everything, and I still can comment about this. I just want to put that out there. I don't want to make it seem like I'm out there playing 8 hours a week, because I'm not. I'm balling other ways, guys. It's just, poker was a means to an end. All right. Anyways, so the first thing is, in its current state, I do not think poker was as profitable as it was, let's say, 7 or 8 years ago. And, in terms of making an entry into playing poker professionally, it's harder and easier to enter. So let me explain. The reason why it's easier to enter is because there's a shitload of information and resources out there that can make you exponentially grow. See, a lot of the poker players that started off, they didn't have this exponential growth because there was no internet. Now we have such great access to information, we can learn how to play much, much, much quicker. Right? Like if I had myself, if you transported me back 5 years ago and I taught myself, I would have been making a lot more money a lot quicker. It's just the way the world works. So we're more exposure to information. However, everybody has more exposure to this information, so everybody else tends to get good, right? So there's poker, you cannot deny that poker players, if you look at a 1-2 table 7 years ago, and you look at a 1-2 table now, I'm pretty sure that you can't deny that the play has gotten better. 1-2 still sucks for the most part, because people, even though there's all this knowledge out there, people doesn't mean they're applying it properly. So that's a whole nother discussion. But I definitely think that the games are tougher. I definitely think that. See, the truly obsessive players did amazing. Tom Dwan's, Phil Goffins, all those guys, because they were so obsessive about the game and their progression was so quick that they knew information that a lot of people didn't. There's a lot of information out there that they have that others didn't. And then it started to seep, and then you see the nosebleed sections. You get 9 players that really know how to play a sit and go, that are really good at it, that really know ICM. The edge is so small. I mean, you can make an argument that there is no edge if everybody knows how to play perfectly. And that's where you're talking about how tournament play has been borderline solved. In some respect, it has. And I think that's pretty interesting. Now, the edge in poker, or the edge in making a living in poker, isn't necessarily gone. It's because no matter what you do, I love the quote, if you're the 7th worst poker player in the world, you can make money if you only find the 6 players that are worse than you. That's still a true thing. And I don't think the edge is gone. I think the edge depends on your landscape, right? So, for example, and this is what you have to think about the state of poker, is you have 2 landscapes. You have online poker and you have live. Online, we don't have any Americans right now, right? It's a big, you lock poker, I know all of you guys, but for the most part, online poker is not a big thing in the United States. It may be, it may come up, but as of now, it's not. And from what I understand, the people that are playing online, especially professionally, and I'm coaching some players online now that come in here and we look at the games are, they're not super easy, in my opinion. They're not like this. It's not an easy game. Even 10 cents, 20 cents, I was pretty impressed with some of the play on there. And the reason why is the player pool's not that great. And the people that really are obsessed and love poker are going to have more knowledge, and therefore they're going to jump through all the hoops to play online. So the online landscape, you can still search for players that aren't good and so on and so forth. But right now, it's not what it was 5 years ago. I'm sure of that. And I'm pretty sure it's going to become legalized, but we're not sure of that, whether or not it's going to happen or not. Second is live. And live depends on where you're playing. I promise you, 1-2 sucks. It always sucks. You always have bad players at 1-2. I don't care what casino you go to. If you sit down at 1-2 long enough, you'll find bad players. And That's for sure. 5, 10, as you move up in stakes, you may have some players who, you know, are good online and they made the transition to live or something of that nature, but they suck too. I just feel, I mean, I still feel that poker players make a lot of mistakes and all that, but I just feel that there's more knowledge out there, and it's more about who utilizes this knowledge. And I kind of think that, like, it was like this, like poker started to explode, right? So it started like, oh, explode, explode, explode. Everybody's playing. Because everybody's playing, there's not enough people at that point that are creating good content, right? That are creating good, like, information out there and teaching right and all that. But then it starts to get better. You know, Deuces Crack, Poker X Factor, Blue Fire, all these sites start coming out and people start getting better. 2+2 nut jobs, you know, articles like Phil Galfin's G-Bucks. Like, you don't have those articles anymore. Like, I haven't seen, and if they are, please let me know if there's some sort of thing there. Because as of right now, I don't see anything out there. I don't see any, like, great advancements in the poker community. Like, this stuff came years ago. And because, like, you know, it starts off wide and it gets more narrow and narrow and narrow and narrower, as you get more narrow, the amount of players that are playing decrease. And I don't know if it's changed in casinos. It's probably still increased, but online it definitely has. We know that. So I know I'm rambling, but it's okay. A couple other things. He talked about, his question was switching games, and I think this is an awesome thing. Like, I remember earlier on in my game, I was getting a little frustrated with Hold'em, so I switched to PLO for a while, and, you know, that helped my, you know, split, like, PLO and all rotation kind of games. But I personally have never made the breakthrough to, like, do 7 triple draw and stud and all those games. I mean, I want to. I mean, I can play them, but I don't consider myself to be good. I wouldn't sit down at a table and play. I wouldn't play decent players in that game and expect to be profitable. They're just funner. I think this is this is what it is. The state of, I honestly believe that no matter what happens, if you want to make money playing poker, if you want to make a living playing poker, it's possible. If you're good enough, if you have the right mental state and you have the right bankroll, you can always make a living playing poker. I'm not saying it's going to be a lavish living. I'm not saying it's going to be millions of dollars, but you can make a living. You could, you know, maybe make close to 6 figures a year if you source out, you know, you look for the right games, you exploit other people's weaknesses, you're really knowledgeable of your own internal state and where you're at as a player. I definitely think that's the case. I definitely think you can make it a living. Is it harder? Yes, at the end of the day, I think it's harder. I do not think it's possible. Now, here's the difference. The difference is this. As you get good, as everybody learns more and more and more, the thing that could happen that could be a game changer is if poker's legalized in America. If poker's legalized if poker's legalized in America and they allow advertising dollars and sites like Zanga, where you have people playing on Zanga Poker for so long and that's their poker base, if they go out and they have the ability to go online and drop $500 and sit down at a 1-2 table and lose and rebuy, it's gonna be juicy as hell. Like, I will definitely play poker again. If poker becomes legal online, I promise you're gonna see videos of online play with me. I'll just record them for fun because it's gonna be too profitable not to, right? And that's the thing. That's what I say we're all training for online to be legal again. Because then you're sitting down, you can sit there in your robe, and all of a sudden, bang, you have tons of shitty players playing with you at any given time. That would be amazing. And I think that's going to happen. So I think all the training and all the learning that people are doing now, it will definitely be paid off when poker becomes legal in the States again. That's my belief. I don't know if it's 100% true. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. I just know, I personally know things are in the works with certain casinos, and if it becomes legalized, there will be another poker explosion because there's just going to be so much advertisement behind it. And, you know, Americans still like poker. And, you know, there's always going to be people that play the game and treat it like it's gambling. Like, oh, sure, let me just throw some money in poker. And then there'll be poker like you, people that are watching this video who want to edge and want to learn more about the game. And these players are going to be the ones that are going to extract value, hopefully, from the other players. So I know I kind of rambled, but I hope I answered your question. Long story short, it's harder, but I do think you can make a living, and I do think that going out and branching off into other variations of poker, looking for wherever you have an edge And the largest edge is the most successful route to making money professionally, to make this into a living. If that edge comes from playing Deuce 7 triple jaw or face-up Chinese poker or whatever it is the new variant that I got to learn how to play, then go there. You chase the edge, chase the money. All right, guys?